views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Moms, are you ready to become enlightened, empowered, and stress-free? Well, get ready because you are about to tune into vibrant, powerful moms helping everyday women create an extraordinary life with Debbie Pokornik. Each week, Debbie discusses topics to help you become self-aware, inspired, and on track to create the life you crave. It's time to stop settling and start thriving. And it all begins now on Transformation Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Vibrant Powerful Mom Show. I'm your host, Debbie Pokornik, and my mission is to help you tune in to the vibrant, powerful person you were always meant to be, despite the challenges you may be facing in this lifetime. My guest today, Jodi Pliszka, is a beautiful example of how a person can, in fact, do this. Jodi lost her hair and found her purpose in life was helping other people. She has a PhD and several other letters after her name. She is a bald woman advocate, clinical therapist, a mindset expert, mentor for coaches, award-winning inventor. She even mentored with Simon Cowell, which I think is really awesomely cool. She raised an incredible daughter who she now works with while being a single mom. She's a 3-time best-selling author and Enterprising Woman of the Year recipient. She's reached 60 million people in 22 different countries with her unique mindset and business practices. She's hosted radio shows and podcasts and been seen or heard on many well-known media outlets. Now, if that's not enough, when I met Jodi, we spoke on the phone, and this was just a little while ago, really, and I was blown away by her energy and zest for life. And yet it turns out she had just recovered her voice from a wicked health challenge and was just about to celebrate her 1-year anniversary of surviving a different health crisis that landed her in the hospital with a record-setting fever of 106.1 degrees. So, as you might notice, her life has had its ups and downs, and through it all, she has learned to turn obstacles into opportunities, which she now helps others do as well. Jodi, welcome to the Vibrant Powerful Mom Show.
Oh, Debbie, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I don't know if I should be laughing or crying when I'm hearing you mention all those things.
Well, I wanted to make sure we had both the positives and the negatives because it's easy to hear all of a person's accomplishments and think, well, good for them.
Yeah.
But when you recognize that, there was some real challenges in there along the way, it hasn't just been all smooth sailing, it kind of changes things a little bit, I think.
I totally agree. And, my philosophy is you can do one of two things in life. You can laugh, you can cry. I always say choose laughter because it causes less wrinkles, right? So,
well, exactly. And it doesn't make your mascara run. Unless you laugh so hard that you cry.
But then some of us that don't even have eyelashes, we don't even have to worry about that mascara thing, Debbie. No.
Good point. Good
I know
point.
You're jealous. I know, Debbie, you're jealous because I never have to shave under my arms or legs because I don't have any hair. So everybody out there, you can laugh. It's okay.
The grass is always greener.
Oh, it is. It is. And it's so funny you say that because boy, did I didn't always feel that way because when I was 20, I started losing my hair and it took me a long journey, 32 years. And I just want everybody out there, I may have all these wonderful accomplishments, but my number one, this is Vibrant Powerful Mom. My number one accomplishment truly is I never spanked my daughter. That is like my absolute number one accomplishment. And I'm really no different than everyone else out there. I mean, I'm the bald lady from Wisconsin. I just chose to take action. And that's what we do, right, Debbie? We're inspiring people. And that's why your show is showing people that, you have guests like me and everybody else that explains how other people can do it too. So I think what you're doing is so really important and valuable. So thank you for that.
Well, You are very welcome. Thank you too, because I do think that validating, that normalizing, that helping people recognize that it's hard for all of us. And the
Right.
more we can help each other and learn from each other and support one another, the better off we all are. So that's
That's
such an important
true.
thing. Yeah.
That's it. And
So,
the only reason that I got where I am is because I chose to do something about it. And instead of becoming a victim, I wanted to be a survivor. And, I've always had those little voices in my head. I mean, when I think about being different, I think about being proactive, but I certainly didn't always feel that way. I mean, I started losing my hair when I was 13. And it was really difficult. I mean, was I pretty? Was I ugly? Was I abnormal? Would anyone love me? And I always let those little voices in my head determine what I was going to do. Was I going to listen to what people, those disingenuous words? And no, I was a fighter. I knew that I wanted to laugh and not cry. And so it's a decision. A positive attitude is a cognitive decision that people make. So I just really have to stress that to everybody.
absolutely. Yes. Beautiful. And,
Right.
I would imagine that you also had to learn how to not take things personally, how to not just go into that victim mode, that blaming mode. And having a positive attitude helps with that, but there's more to it than that.
Absolutely. There is a lot more to it. And what Jess and we are really, really lucky. Jess is working towards her PhD in cognitive neuroscience, behavioral psychology, following in my footsteps, because our passion is to help people find their inner humor and bring their passion into the world, find their voices. And when you said something, when we had first met, I was recovering from my second throat surgery. I had my trachea cut because I have a rare disorder called idiopathic subglottic stenosis. My trachea was about 65% closed. I had it cut, had it expanded, but I'm doing great. It's something that I may deal with for the rest of my life, but I needed to figure out how to put my words into a system when I'm out and I can't speak for like 3 weeks after my surgery. What am I supposed to do as a speaker or a coach? And anybody that's out there that sells information from their head, and if you're a mom, if you're a coach, a consultant, an expert, whatever you are, what do you do? What do you do when you're sick or your kids are sick or you have a family emergency and you can't coach or consult? What do you do? And so that is what I did, was I was able to take a situation that I had that's ongoing and learn to develop a transformational system to basically automate things. And that's how I invented our Headline It product, because I was in Taekwondo. My daughter yells across the room, "Mom, your panty liner's hanging out," because I was wearing panty liners under my wigs to stop the sweat, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, Debbie, can you imagine? I'm like,
And
Jess.
at first, you don't know which one to check.
No. And I'm like, oh my God, Jess was only like 7 or 8 at the time. And I was like, God bless you. Yeah, right. Which way are you looking?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I learned that this is when I really took the stance, because I knew that there was something that I needed to invent that could help other women, men, anybody who wears a wig, had a helmet, to be able to put something underneath for the comfort. And to make a really long story short, that's how I invented my Headline It product, became a top finalist on ABC's American Inventor TV show, worked with Simon Cowell, Peter Jones. They were my mentors for 4.5 years. And I took everything in that they said, and I absorbed it like a sponge. And I took all of my mindset from everything I've learned in my life, all my experience. And I said, I want to help other people be able to make a bigger impact in the world. And how can I do that? And so that's how we started our Master It All program, because, I took something that was a really fortunate, I'm being able to work with Simon Cowell. I mean, and by the way, he smells wonderful. He is the kindest. Yeah, he is the kindest, nicest, sweetest man. He gave me more time and spent just quality moments explaining, how important he thought what I was doing. He kept saying that my life's journey, I found my passion, I was mission driven. And he was so touched by that he gave me a lot more time. So I love to encourage anybody out there, whatever it is that you like to do, whatever your passion is, that's what you should pursue. And that's what we try to teach people, is how to bring and niche down their talents and really understand that you have something that you went through. Now, you don't have to have a whole bunch of letters behind your name like me. I just craved information. And remember, I overcompensate. I don't have any hair. So I figure, hey, I want to have more brains, right? So, but people don't need, you don't need to have all those letters. You have an experience. You're unique. You're the only one that's gone through what you've gone through. And if you've done that successfully, people want to hear what you have to do. And I like, Debbie, what you said. It's being humble, and it's being really authentic and really genuine. And the whole thing with social media and marketing, everything today is about having conversations. And that's exactly what you need to do. Yeah. And you need to have conversations like you're doing with me. We're having a conversation, right?
There you go. Yeah.
But we're hopefully.
You know what? I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm thinking, okay, so ultimately, because this is a mom show, let's start by having you share about having your daughter, Jess, and how she gave you complete clarity on
perfect,
becoming the person you are.
Right. Okay. So the big thing that I think a lot of people need to do is they need to figure out, they need to be able to find that clarity in their life. And for me, that happened when my daughter Jess was born. I found unconditional love. I mean, I'm this bald woman, I wasn't really sure who I was, but by having this little person who loved me, it's like a pet. They love you for just who you are, right, Debbie?
Yes, absolutely. They do.
They do. And little kids are the same. They don't care if you're bald or heavy or fat or thin or dark or light. And that is my whole thing in life. And I'm sure, and I know, Debbie, you feel the same way too, is Jess and I and Debbie, we see the world from inside out. We see people for who they are. And then, we don't care about what they look like. It's what do you have to offer? And Jess, she gave me that complete clarity because I understood that I am not going to have this little person be scathed in any way. I was going through a divorce at the time, and I drew upon my losing my hair and all the mindset techniques that I learned of how to overcome that and just to blend in every day, as a bald woman, although I did wear wigs and false eyelashes, but it really helped me understand that all of that stuff doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what you look like. I mean, you should look your best. And I am a firm believer that in health and a healthy lifestyle, but just remember, you need to care about who you are and love yourself. And only then can somebody truly love you back. And when you're really, when you give yourself to another person, like I did to my daughter, Jess, and she became my mentor. And here now she's my 3-year case study proving that, despite your circumstances, you can actually do anything. If I can do it, you can do it. I mean, I love to share that with people, Debbie.
That's beautiful. And I love that whole piece about your child loves you. Like they see your soul. They don't care what else, like you say, whether you have hair or how big you are or anything. I love that piece because other people that you meet, they will feel it if you don't love yourself, but your child loves you. And that is just so important.
And so I'm sorry, Debbie. And instead of looking outward, people can just stay in and look inward. I mean, your complete and utter happiness and that whole mindfulness, it starts at home. So just enjoy what you're doing in that little realm. And then as soon as you feel more comfortable, then you can move out, but don't go looking for it for someone else, or don't go looking online for that validation. It just starts within. And I think the home is the best place to start.
Absolutely. And I think you're probably touching on exactly where I wanted to go, which is what are some of the things that you had learned from losing your hair that you were able to apply here? Maybe you can give us a tip or two that people can grab onto. You already have, but maybe give us a couple more.
No problem. I think that whole mindfulness, being able to really appreciate every single moment is what's most important. And that's what people forget, is to literally smell the flowers, is to enjoy laughter, is to enjoy sitting down. I mean, Jess and I she came home last night. We just sat down and I was in the recliner. She was across from me on the couch, and we just sat down and talked, and we really listen to each other. We don't talk at each other. And I think I really learned that it's the quality, it's not the quantity of the time you spend, with that absolute quality and being able to share in laughter. I think laughter, Debbie, after losing my hair, I learned laughter is wonderful. And we laugh every single day. And it became part of my genetics now and part of my cognitive neural sequencing that I make just laugh every day. And that is how we have such a healthy relationship. And it could be the silliest little things, but laughter is just like coming home. You can be really negative and you can complain, or you can choose to be happy and choose laughter. So life is a choice. And that is that's what I have to say about that.
Nice.
Life's a box of chocolates, so make it the good ones.
Absolutely. I love that. And I know for myself, my youngest was still living at home before I moved, right? Because I just moved to Atlanta. But before I moved here, my youngest was living at home with me, and we could sit down. We sat down every day, like you said, and we would laugh about things and talk about things. And I was just talking to him yesterday and saying, gosh, I miss not seeing you and just having those fun conversations, because now it's all on the phone and it's still fun, but I certainly don't talk to him daily. It's not, he's 22. Actually, he's going to be 23 this year as well. And same kind of idea that he loves to chat with me, but we're not going to talk on the phone every day because that would be weird.
No, but you still can do little things. And that's what I love about you, Debbie, too. And that's why we're like-minded. Our kids are the same age and we have the same philosophies. But I want people that are listening to absorb what we're saying. It's an attitude. And I know that you probably still text him and, you can send little smiley faces or, oh my goodness, emojis and GIFs. They are the best. I can send Jess something so silly, and within 2 seconds, she'll send me back LOL, the hugest laugh, because she thinks it's hilarious. So yeah,
Absolutely.
You can always, it's the best, even if you don't want to talk every day. Like you said, your son thinks it's weird, but what's weird? Who's to say the standard of what's weird? You set the bar and you do what you feel is most comfortable, and don't worry about what other people think. And I think that's what I've learned the most. It doesn't matter what people think. No, it's what matter what you think and what your son thinks. That's all that matters.
Well, and what's funny is my son has never said that it's weird. It's just that, life is busy and you sort of think, okay, I don't have to call him every day. There is an independence that we're trying to establish here as well. But I love that. And I love that whole building that strong, positive relationship through laughter and really hearing each other. I think you mentioned that in there, that whole piece of really talking to each other, not just, blurbing out everything that happened to you that day, but not really caring if the other person is listening or not.
Oh, yes. And here's something I teach my clients. This is really important, and I'll make it quick. Life is black and white. The black are the negative parts of your life. At work, maybe something went wrong. Your white is your home. You walk into your house, it's white, it's light, it's positive. Make sure when you walk into that door, you take off your work hat and park it at the door. You leave the black on the coat rack, you leave it on the hat rack, you leave it at the door, you walk in and you deal with your white life. If you start to blend in that black with that white life, your life starts to become gray. And when your life is gray, you're living in that perpetual life is unhappy, that whole your mentality, Yeah. So it's important to compartmentalize, differentiate, and make the conscious decision to walk into that world. And I use those colors because some people can't think about exactly what that means, but when you use colors, they can figure out how to compartmentalize things. So leave the black at the door, come in with the white, and so everything isn't gray. That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, well, it creates a beautiful picture for sure. So then let's just dig into this a little bit though, because you work side by side with your daughter daily, right?
Yes.
So how do you separate the black from the white, the home life from the work life all the time?
Oh, we have a really big house, which is we're lucky about that. And Jess does leave because she's working on her PhD. So she's a full-time grad student. So she does leave. And when we are together, I think we're mission driven, and we both have the same passion of helping other people. So when we're doing things, we always are looking at what our end result is going to be, and it's going to be helping more people. So if it's, doing our podcast and, Jess produces everything, or doing all the videos, whatever it is, we know that there's a hierarchy, but we always work side by side with each other. And I think that's important for parents when they look at kids. Just remember, there's 3 parental types. We'll make it really quick. There's the authoritative type where you're like Hitler, you have to do this. There's the permissive type where you can do anything you want to do, and kids don't like that and don't fare well because they need a parent, not a friend. And then there's the authoritative, and authoritative is probably the same. That's what you and I are, Debbie, that, we're fair. We talk with our kids. They have that respect of us, but we have the respect of them too. And so we work hand in hand. So that's the principles, the authoritative principles that I follow. And that's what we teach our clients too when they're coaching their clients, is to make sure that you're guiding them and working with them. So it's understanding and having that differentiation and knowing that you work together side by side. You have that mutual respect and trust. And it's really easy. It's super easy to work with your family. So if you have those boundaries.
Yes. And if you recognize Barbara Coloroso, who is a well-known parent advocate and educator in Canada, she talks about the authoritative family as the backbone. So you can see it flexing and moving and adjusting. And whereas the permissive one is jellyfish, and the authoritarian is brick wall,
Oh,
don't let anything in or anything
right.
out. And so that too, I guess I love pictures.
I love that brick wall, jellyfish, and backbone. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so the backbone. That's perfect, Debbie. I'm going to use that. If you don't mind, we can share, right?
Absolutely. But credit it to Barbara Coloroso, not to me.
Oh, okay.
That's her
Definitely.
stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
So we don't have a lot of time left, but I would love to hear a little bit about you being a single mom and yet raising this incredible daughter who you already mentioned that she's done a lot of amazing things already, and she's working towards her PhD and everything else. What do you attribute that to?
Well, number one, Jess grew up thinking that all mommies were bald. So she never knew. And she says that to me. She's like, why does she have hair? Like, she didn't understand that. And she tells that story. But I attribute my daughter being exactly who she is because I never spanked her, not once. Once again, it goes back to that mutual respect. We do timeouts. I would get down on my hands and knees and I would talk with her at her level. I never talked at her. We didn't do baby talk. I treated her like she's a human being, a respecting human being. And she is a respectful person, right? And then the more I respected her, the more she respected me. And then she followed in my footsteps because she saw the passion and all the people that I helped throughout my years. We host alopecia support groups, and I've done so much advocacy with American Cancer Society, and Jess has been with me. People, take your kids with you. She came to events with me, and then she started videotaping, and then she started helping with the sound, and she helped seat people. And so we had big events. I would have Jess be part of that. And then I would bring her up and I didn't have her stand up. And, I would have people know who she was. And then when I was on American Inventor, and I was a spokesperson for a year for an invention company, and she flew out with me and watched me do the commercials. She was part of things. Get your kids involved. Let them see an entrepreneurial life. Let them see what your life is so they can make a decision if that's something that they want to do. So from little on, she's always wanted to be an inventor, an author. She always, and the teachers are like, wow, she has high aspirations. And hey, I'm like, if I can do it, she can do it. So the summation here is your kids can reach for the stars if they can believe something can happen. Cognitive priming, if they believe it can happen, they will see the results. And I'm a firm believer. It's not to see it to believe it. That's wrong. Cognitive neuroscience says you believe it, you put out that positive energy, you direct your kids, and then you can see the results. So Jess's 22-year case study that it works, right?
Definitely. Definitely.
You bet.
And just to keep in mind, I mean, not everybody is an entrepreneur. Not everybody can bring their child to work depending on where they are working. But really what Jodi's saying here is having your child be involved in your life, being, recognizing that they can be part of it. So you can find out more about Jodi by going to her website, which is jodipliszka.com, JodiPliszka.com. And there you'll find a complimentary 4-part video series for coaches, which I have not yet had a chance to check out, but I've heard such wonderful things about it. It is definitely on my to-do list, and probably by the time this show airs, I will have gone to it. And you can also tune in to the Jodi and Jess Show, which is the #1 MAD podcast, MAD standing for Moms and Daughters. Jodi, is there anything really quick that you want to say about either of those?
People, you can also go to Master It All program. I have a brand new training that I put out. There's no selling whatsoever. It's pure content. And for anybody who sells information from their mind, I promise it's worth it. It's masteritallprogram.com. And it's my free gift to you. And if you want to chat, let me know. Deb, I'm always happy to help out.
Awesome. And I will put those addresses all on the blog, as usual, on my website that is hooked up with this interview. So you can get it from there if you didn't get it down when Jodi was talking about it. Jodi, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. You truly are a beautiful example of someone who has taken obstacles and turned them into opportunities in life, and who really, really practices having that zest for life. So thank you so very much.
Oh, and thanks for having me. Remember, people, life is what you make it. So make it the best life possible.
Absolutely. A big thank you to you, our listeners. With much respect for you and the journey you are on, this is Debbie Pokornik and her guest, Jodi Pliszka, wishing you a vibrant and powerful day.
You've been listening to Vibrant, Powerful Moms with host Debbie Pokornik. If you've enjoyed this show, please give us a shout out and leave us a positive review. To find out more about Debbie and her sisterhood of vibrant, powerful moms, visit empoweringenergy.com. That's empowering with letters NRG.com.